The symbol of Tai Chi is the traditional yin and yang circle that you know where yin and yang are flowing into and through one another. Neither one exists without the other. And it's a gentle flow. It is a circle. And today we're going to talk about the circular patterns of Tai Chi. And not just circles, but a lot of them are going to be circles. And some of them are very obvious that you'll be able to say, oh sure, the ball of energy, holding the ball. You know, we talk about this ball as we're holding it before we move into part the wild horse's mane or before we move into brush knee. We have that ball of energy that we release into our opponent, right? So that ball is very obvious circle. Some of them are not going to be as obvious. Some of them are not going to be completely circle in the traditional sense of a geometric circle. Let's look at pushing chi together. Bring your left foot forward. And even though this feels like a very linear front to back movement, you are moving that ball of energy in front of you. If I turn to the side here, you can see that my hands are actually drawing a circle as I do that pushing chi. And we want it to be this gentle flow because we don't want it to be a start-stop kind of thing. It needs to flow, and that's part of what the circular patterns, as we look through these today, you'll find those circular patterns support that flow of continuous movement. Bring your right foot forward and do your pushing chi. And think about that circle in front of you. Think about that energy that you're using against your opponent. Another pretty obvious one, at least in my mind, of circular motion is your wave hands like clouds. And we talk about rotating on that central column. We talk about having this big ball, just bringing it across your body. And we talk about the power that comes from that rotation. Now go to your right as you're doing your wave hands like clouds. The circular motion of this is really the whole foundation of the movement. One more. Now going back to the left. And wave hands like clouds is very easily done in a continuous fashion. You don't feel the need to start or stop if that circle just keeps flowing. And that's part of why wave hands like clouds is everybody's favorite movement, because it is so gentle and flowing. It, as one of my clients once said, she goes, it's simply hypnotic. This flow, when we start to focus on the circular patterns of Tai Chi, that drives the benefit of relaxing your body, allowing your body to be open and loose and flowing is foundational to that benefit of relaxation. So we want to key in to those circular patterns. Think about one that you might not think of circles necessarily is deflect, intercept, and punch. You know, that feels very aggressive, and it is against your opponent, but it's also maybe not in the sense of a traditional circle, but it's almost like a figure 8 if you're using the rotation properly with the movement. Bring your weight over to the left. Your right shoulder should be facing towards the front so that you can use that rotation in this deflect. And now as you bring your right hand to your hip, your left shoulder needs to be forward so that you use that rotation into your opponent. So that almost figure 8 like movement is actually helping you get the power into that movement. Let's do deflect, intercept, and punch one more time. And good. Now thinking of the ball of energy and that roundness and rotating your body almost in a figure 8 way again, if you think about Repulse the monkey, this is what happens. You have this big ball of energy right here. And remember, you're compressing that energy down so that you have the most energy at the moment you need to push your opponent away. And then you're rotating from the dantian. So your body is making a circle. So let's do that Repulse the monkey. Bring your left foot forward and step back and think about how the circle of your body rotating here is helping this motion be powerful. And in the same way, it's also helping your body relax as it steps backwards. One more. So again, it's almost like a figure 8 with Repulse the monkey. Let's go this direction here with that left foot forward, stepping back. Think about the rotation. And think about that big ball of energy. One more. So now if we look at part the wild horse's mane, like I mentioned earlier, it starts with that hold the ball position, right? We've got this ball of energy right here. And then we use that rotational movement to open up and release that energy into our opponent. Calling back that twist step that we worked on last week, this helps bring about that rotation and that circular motion. One more step with part the wild horse's mane. And if you think about keeping your arms open and loose and not letting them be straight, that's part of, again, that energy flow. That's part of allowing your body to relax, allowing energy just to, like the yin and yang symbol, just to flow. If you have locked joints, if you have a straight arm, if you're doing your brush knee and you're straightening out that elbow, that actually blocks the flow of the energy. This is a line that we don't want to have in Tai Chi. We don't want to have that straight line. We want it to be loose and rounded. That circular motion is actually very important for the relaxation and for the power. Let's do part the wild horse's mane again. Holding that ball, think about keeping your body rounded, open. Connect with the circles that are happening in this motion, especially as you add that twist step. One more. So now one that I'm sure that you really don't want to connect circles with, a movement that is not everybody's favorite, is snake creeps, pheasant stands. And in a lot of ways, snake creeps, pheasant stance feels very linear. You're going right into your opponent, coming into that pheasant stance, right? It feels very straight and on right at your opponent. However, with your snake creeps, pheasant stance, there's actually a couple different planes of circles going on. The first plane is right in front of you. If you form your bird's beak on the left, or excuse me, on the right, step out with your left, this circle right here in front of you is happening as you start your snake creeps. Then the plane of the circle actually changes, and it changes to a horizontal circle. First, it's in this plane, and now it changes, and your hips are guiding that horizontal circle as you come into your pheasant stance. If you can connect with those two circles in your snake creeps, it's going to make that motion much more graceful and much easier, actually, because the circles help you. So bring your weight over to the right, step out left. Think about this circle first as you go down into your snake creeps. Then change that circle, let your hips turn on this plane. And then your last circle that you need to think about with snake creeps is holding that ball of energy in front as you bring your center of mass over your base of support to come into your pheasant stance. So let's do that snake creeps, pheasant stance again, bringing your weight over to the right, holding that bird's beak, step out left. Now let that left hand start to trace the circle, turning your hips, holding that ball of energy, bringing your center of mass, your dantian, over your base of support, and come into your pheasant stance. Now I tried to draw the two different circles, the one that's here and the one that's here. I tried to draw it on the board in my studio this week, and my class laughed at me because they said it looked like an egg with a hula hoop around it. So it didn't, that visual didn't work because apparently I cannot draw very well. But if you think about if you're a Doctor Strange fan, okay, this circle as he opens up the portal, right, this is the circle in front as you're starting your snake creeps. And then think if he opens a portal this way in front of him. This is that circle here as you're turning your hips, coming into your pheasant stance. So with snake creeps, pheasant stance, again, if you can connect with those circles, then it will actually help make that movement a little bit more graceful. So I think we have a question. What's the question here? Okay, so the question is pain in your knees as you're doing your snake creeps. If you are, if your knees have issues, don't think that you have to do this, okay? This is for a pain-free knee. If you need to modify with your snake creeps, remember it's all about those circles, it's all about the motion, but not necessarily the depth of the motion. Bring your weight over to the right, step out left. Don't put any weight on that left yet. Now, start to draw that circle here, then draw that circle with your hips. Notice I didn't go down, I did not lower my center of mass at all. Bringing that center of mass over my base of support here though, and coming into my pheasant stance. Maybe I come into pheasant stance this way. You don't have to go low. You have to understand your weight shift, the circles, holding that ball, and coming into your pheasant stance. Your feet, again, calling back what we talked about last week, your feet also need to be fluid as you step out and you turn that circle. Notice that my feet are turning so that they're facing the same direction, and then coming into your pheasant stance. So don't ever think that you have to, I don't want you to ever be in pain as you're doing your Tai Chi. This should be helping your body open up and relax, not causing pain, which constricts it down. As you do your Tai Chi through the years, perhaps your body will open up and loosen up, and you will be able to get a little bit lower as you come into that snake creeps. But it doesn't matter. Remember, we don't do this for perfection. We do it to get the benefits of Tai Chi. And we want the benefit of relaxing our body, allowing our energy to flow, which helps us be healthier.